What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quarter, and I've got quite the assortment of journalists getting owned. It's been a long time. I feel like this used to be a staple on my channel from 2016 to 2020, but then during the Biden administration, he didn't talk to anybody. And when Kamala Harris ran, she didn't talk to anybody. So we had very little clips of, journalists interacting with various politicians and getting humiliated on the world stage. Well, I have several excellent delicacies for you today that will help ring in the new year, ring in the new administration that I really think you're going to like, including Congressman Tim Burchett absolutely ending CNN's Jim Acosta live on air in a hilarious exchange earlier this morning. Trump versus a couple other reporters. The whole thing is wild. Of course, it's just great. It's a great time to be laughing. Let's get into it. Just a quick mention, the computer I use, the computer my assistant uses, my family and friends, what I recommend everybody is a Meta PC. Link's going to be in the description below. Promo code the quartering or quartering to save. You can do custom builds, you can do laptops, you can do pre-builds. They have ready-to-ship PCs, everything you need. Just remember, promo code quartering over at metapcs.com when you're ready to buy your next computer. Let's look at this little interaction between Congressman Tim Burchett and that loser Jim Acosta. It's just 17 seconds long, but it is wonderful.
It's covered on CNN. What you're saying, this is not Fox, Congressman. You can't just spin a tail and pull the wool over people's eyes.
So Jim Acosta first says, well, Fox is fake news, and CNN is the real authority in news. By the way, Fox is also tend to lie about a lot of things. You have Bill O'Reilly cheering for Ross Ulbricht getting 2 life sentences in prison for creating a website. You have all the money that Fox took from Pfizer. You have the jab mandates at Fox. So let's not pretend that Fox doesn't have their own issues as well. But the idea that CNN some sort of trusted David News is wild. And then he left this opening that he absolutely knocked out of the park.
Yeah. This is CNN. This is
CNN.
News. We're asking you to come on and tell the truth.
And that's why more people are watching the Cartoon Network SpongeBob reruns right now, Jim.
It's covered.
More people are watching Cartoon Network SpongeBob reruns than CNN. I mean, as a matter of fact, more people watch my show every day in the key demographic than watch CNN. More people watch Tim Pool's show than the key demographic on CNN. Steven Crowder, Dan Bongino. I mean, Viva Fry, for crying out loud. All of us outpace even the largest networks in terms of the key demographic and daily viewers. And, this is kind of the end of an era. Now we had this reporter, I'm not sure who he is, but he shows up a lot and he's extraordinarily annoying. I have 2 exchanges for you here where the guy just gets absolutely crushed.
I've done things that were...
This is Trump talking about, I believe, the AI infrastructure during the AI infrastructure announcement.
Not acceptable for a full pardon.
Oh, no, he's talking about
These
J6
people
pardons.
served years of jail, and their lives have been ruined. And in many cases, listen to me for a second. Stop interrupting.
I apologize, he says.
They served years in jail.
These people, again, I think they're hungry because, quite frankly, they weren't able to ask any questions for the last 4 years. But I mean, this is the guy's face. This is it from a different angle. It's absolutely great.
But these people have served years of jail, and their lives have been ruined. And in many cases, listen to me for a second. Yes. Stop interrupting.
I apologize.
Now, it's funny that the narrative has been from the mainstream left is that suddenly they have a problem with the J6 pardons because suddenly the left loves cops now. I didn't know that. I thought these people were the defund the police people. And I'm like, oh, well, sir, you pardon people that put their hands on police. First of all, there were over 1,500 pardons, 450 active investigations. About 3 of them involved any kind of physical altercation with police. And the ones that did, did not receive full pardons. They received sentence commutations. It's very different, meaning, hey, you served your time. And I think it's fair to say that 4 years in federal prison for brawling with a cop is more than enough. We had, here in my home state, people burned an entire city down during the Summer of Love. I'm pretty sure none of those people went to prison for even a day. So the argument is that, oh, how can you let these monsters go? It's like, dude, you're talking about 2 or 3 out of nearly 2,000 people. 750, I believe, roughly, were in D.C. jail or prison for, at the current time of the pardons. I have friends, Owen Schroyer, stuff like that, that served time in federal prison in solitary confinement for the crime and never even went in the building. We're just there. Another friend, a videographer that worked for me, he also, FBI showed up at his house. He never went inside. He never did anything bad. I mean, they didn't do any of this to the people who were doing the same thing in 2020 on a vastly larger scale. Oh, by the way, many of them were also brawling with police. But at the time, left-wing media said, oh, well, defund the police. I know I'm no cop lover, okay? But I generally think most of them have, your best interest in mind. Just always remember, they have no duty to protect you. So if you end up in a situation, just remember that. You're on your own a lot of times. But I think most cops are good people and, will put their life on the line for you, but you just can't count on it. But the leftist media is like suddenly, oh my God, our brave men and women in blue. How could you pardon these people? And it's just bonkers. Then, of course, a lot of the reporters are talking about, Trump saying, oh, well, there's only 2 genders. Of course, there's only been ever 2 genders. The adults are in charge again right now. You want to identify as whatever you want, and you're not hurting anybody, I don't have any problem with you. You're a 45-year-old man and you want to put on a Party City wig and go into the women's room. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. And I think 99% of people agree with me. And there just has to be some common sense. But here we have an interesting, again, these media people keep pretending like, oh, our poor men and women in blue.
Mr. President, you're a president who has long said that you back the blue, but aren't you sending the message that assaulting officers
this dork
is okay with these pardons?
So the twist is that, because he pardoned these people, he's also saying it's okay to attack police officers. By the way, this happens every day in the inner cities, and by the way, it happened for an entire summer in 2020. It happened during the Free Palestine demonstrations, and I'm, again, if they had put those people in jail, that'd be one thing, but they didn't. They only put these people in jail because they were conservatives, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Over 1,000 trials, and the judges had a near 100% conviction rate. That's not true of any crime. That's not true of murder. The conviction rate in murder is nowhere near 100%. But for some reason, these people had a 100% conviction rate. You tell me that's not corrupt. You tell me, let's say you did the worst crime that happened that day was somebody maybe brawled with cops, as far as we know. That was the biggest charge that we saw. Now, they trumped it up with all sorts of other fancy words, but 4 years in prison for getting aggressive or, fighting back against cops, that's too long. And even if you agree, we can agree. I agree. Look, if there should be a crime for that, that's a crime. But 4 years in federal prison is absurd. It's like saying Ross Ulbricht, 2 life sentences plus 40 years for creating a website. Give me a break. Everybody knew these were politically motivated. Look what they did to Enrique Tarrio, okay? He was the leader of the Proud Boys, I believe. Rumor has it that the DOJ told him, if you testify to the fact that Donald Trump told you to do this, we'll drop the charges. That's what was reported. And instead, I think most people would probably have taken that deal, even though that wasn't the truth. That's what our FBI was doing. And Enrique said, no, I'm not going to do that. I think we're going to have him on the show soon, maybe Friday. He said no, and he ate a 25-year sentence, and he wasn't even in D.C. So I don't have a lot of time for people pretending that these weren't politically motivated, not just prosecutions, but also sentences. So when these dorks in the media are like, "My police," look, these people serve their time. Let's finish. Let's hear this dork out. I don't know who he is, but he's my new whipping boy. You know, he's going to be my new Jim Acosta if he keeps asking stupid questions like this.
Oh, the opposite. In fact, I'm going to be letting 2 officers from Washington Police, D.C. I believe they're from D.C., but I just approved it. They were arrested, put in jail for 5 years because they went after an illegal, and I guess something happened where something went wrong. And they arrested the 2 officers and put them in jail for going after a criminal. A rough criminal, by the way, and I'm actually releasing. No, I'm the friend of.
He is a friend of police.
I am the friend of police. More than any president that's ever been in this office.
More than 400 of the people that you pardoned, though, assaulted officers.
They say more than 400 of those people were charged with assault. I don't know if that's true. I didn't see numbers that high. But even if it was, again, they've all been in prison for 4 flipping years. That's enough time. And again, suddenly this guy's pro-cop. Suddenly Van Jones on CNN is Blue Lives Matter.
Vice President J.D. Vance, he said, this is a week ago, he said, if you committed violence on January 6th, obviously you should not be pardoned. Why is your vice president wrong?
Well, only for one reason. They've served years in jail.
Right.
They should not have served.
Everybody knows some of these guys did some bad things. And the point is they served their time. And that's all he's trying to say. So we're going to have lots of great. Here's my favorite. I'll end up with this one where, Canada is kind of seeing a trend line back towards normalcy. And we have, a reporter getting humiliated live on TV by Pierre Poilievre, the kind of front-running guy, hopefully, to replace Justin Trudeau.
First day on the job, President Trump signed an executive order, the U.S. government only recognizing 2 genders, male, female. They're unchangeable. If elected as prime minister, is that something that you're going to kind of walk in line with, or what are your feelings on that executive order?
Well, I don't know. Do you have any other genders that you'd like to name?
This is great. Nobody can ever answer this question.
I'm just asking more so if you're in line with what he is saying. Do you agree?
He's like, will you agree with Trump? Well, Mr. Reporter, how many genders are there? Well,
agree with what he's saying. Is that something that you would be lockstep with if elected as prime minister?
Well, I'm not aware of any other genders than men and women. I mean, if you have any other that you want me to consider, you're welcome to tell me right now.
Well, there's personally, I am a man. I am as people who say cis man. There are people there who, they say they're gender neutral.
Well.
You are a man.
Yeah.
Yes. There are people there who say they're gender neutral. Yeah. They say they're gender neutral. They're a trans
people can say whatever they want, by the way.
Is that something that you would recognize here, whereas in the States, at least with their U.S. government, the way they're seeing it, there's only 2?
I'm only aware of 2, but
yeah. So I mean, these days are gone of being able to push people on this. Again, live your life. Live and let live. It's fine by me. But at the end of the day, it's just all great to see. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, subscribe or follow down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.